Hello, hello, hello. Is that you, Miss Juliana? Yeah, there you go, love. I'm so excited around your dedication. This is awesome.
I know. I was like, I was on my way here, and I'm like, oh my god, I have a call. I'm like, I gotta hurry up. I just came back to the gym.
Because it's 9 p.m. for you, right?
Yeah, it is. So I just had some food and shoved it up my mouth, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go into the call.
Awesome, very cool. Well, I'm gonna actually dive right in because last time things got started a little late. So if it's just you and I right now, that's amazing. I know
Okay.
several of the girls are on vacay. I will be on vacay next week, but I will be here on this call for all of us.
Excited.
So before I go into mirror two, did you do anything this week that was around really embodying, learning more about you and like new things that you didn't know before that you found that you like love about yourself?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm getting clear exactly where I want to be with my career. So I got a lot of clarity in finding exactly what is it that I need to do.
Yeah.
So definitely I need to do my homework on more nutrition because that's my passion, really, to help people to lose weight, to get in shape, and truly becoming healthy from the inside out.
Absolutely.
So definitely things that I love about myself is helping other people and other women especially to become healthier, a healthy version of themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely what I'm getting clear more right now.
And so welcome everyone to week 2 of the Rising the TFP Within You, here with our dear soul sister Juliana from Toronto. And I love what you just shared, because the one thing that I feel happens over and over and over for women is with experience and with age. Hey, Val, welcome. From calling in from Texas, I think, right?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. We got Texas, Toronto, and San Diego. Rocking and rolling. So Val, Juliana was just sharing that she's getting more clear on her path and how she really wants to be supporting women around health and nutrition. But I think too, what you understand for yourself and what you'll be able to support women with is like really helping women be healthy on the inside, like everything around understanding like the power of the TFP within us is understanding that we have the opportunity to really see ourselves from such a beautiful place, from the inside. Like, who are we, and like, who's our soul? Like, what are our values? Like, what's our passion? What's our joy? And the more we get in tune and in alignment with the beauty that's already inside of us, and we start to celebrate that, like all this stuff on the outside just starts to kind of align. And you walk into a room and people are like, oh my goodness, like something about you just is beautiful. I can't explain it, but you just look so beautiful today. And it's, it's funny because people can say, yeah, well, Novelina, you're 5'2" and you're this amount of weight. And yeah, but at the same time, even though that's my frame and my body and stuff, it also has to do with how I present and really exemplify who I am from the inside out. And I see women from all different shapes, sizes, colors, origins who are so beautiful to me, and it has nothing to do with what's on the outside. It's like how they are like just showing up full on from the inside out. So when you're working with these women on like their health and their nutrition, you're also going to tap into the psychology of how are these women thinking about themselves? How are they thinking about not just their body image, but like their frame of, rituals for themselves to fall in love with themselves. So the TFP is a good guidebook for women to really like just say, hey, even though we may look on the different on the outside, on the inside we're the same. We have the same sometimes self-sabotaging doubts that are happening around these things, right? Which make us so normal, and the way we process information is so different than men, that's like one thing we should honor about each other. Like, oh my gosh, like I know that you probably have a ton of different voices going on in your head, and I know that they're not really you, but like because you do and I know I do, like I totally honor for the path that you're on each day. So So Val, do you want to share with us? Joanna just shared something about like she realized that she learned more about herself this last week and loving herself. Do you want to share anything around anything that you found that you tapped in around loving yourself? Something new that you didn't know before about yourself since last week?
Oh, yeah. So thank you, Noves. Hi, Juliana. So, I did the work for the TFP 5 years ago. And so I still have that notebook of when I did 5 years ago and writing down. And I'm approaching this book series as like I've never read it before, and going through the exercises and really putting myself in a place of the new TFP, getting introduced to the work, and really looking at, I actually post some of my answers on just kind of the first exercise of like, what do you love about yourself? And one of the things that even just Nova and I had some good quality time this week as well. I was growing up, I was really bantered by my family and my loved ones, calling me ugly and calling me fat, and I was never, but that was just the environment that I was in, and I beat myself up daily at my fittest that I've ever been in my life. And I was running 3 to 6 miles a day, a size 3, which has never happened. I mean, from 5th grade, I was like 115 pounds. So like, I consistently, I was very cruel to myself, self-sabotaging because I wasn't fully aligned. And today, going through the exercises or this past week, I'm like, I love everything about my body. I love every curve, every little cellulite, every little dimple, whatever it is, like the way my boobs sag, like I love it all. And to really be in that place of true acceptance, and as one, as just being, embodying the TFP, because like No said, like we all have these little voices, but when you can radiate pure love for yourself, it shows up. Yep. And people want to know, or people, like what you said, when you walk in a room, people want to know, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you're doing? Why are you so joyful? Or why do you radiate? They can't even explain, really what it is. It's just pure love that you have for yourself. Therefore, you have love for everyone in the world or everyone in that room. And, it oozes out of your pores, basically. And so going through this last week's exercises is like, everywhere that I looked, it really had me even dreaming up even more and even bigger. Like, what is it that I want to call in and bring into my life? And, how do I want to play a bigger game? And so, going through this, again, mirror one, it was really awesome to revisit that. And one, just see the growth that I've had in the last 5 years, but again, to approach it as I've never had, as I've never done the TFP before, and to just really look at and say those affirmations in the mirror, like I love myself, and to look at yourself dead in the eyes, it is really powerful. And so, I am glad that you're joining us, and that's exactly what you want to do in the world, Juliana. That's really important, because as I think as your cup is full, it just overflows to those around you, those you come in contact with, even going and getting coffee. There's a saying, share a smile. And it's like even sharing a smile can impact somebody's day, and that's because you're continuously just loving yourself. Something as simple as that. It's like you're just loving yourself. Therefore, you have this space to, really be present with the love around you. So.
Absolutely. Good share, Val. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And I know you're totally up leveling too. And this business trip you're on in Austin is a huge indicator of that as well. Before I jump into mirror 2, I will share that one thing that I've realized about myself this week that I want to recognize is my commitment to a goal. I put on, I'm on this Voxer thread with 2 other girlfriends, and we met in a mastermind 2 weeks ago, and we said, okay, let's commit to the next 33 days to do this butt challenge, which is like a 7-minute butt workout, like from this one app every day. And every day we're going to tell each other, like, we did like before pictures of our butts and like little like, and like every day we're supposed to check in and let us know when everyone's done with their workout. So I thought that was pretty clear. And so I've been every day, no matter what, like checking in, saying day 7 is complete, doing this app workout. And and I'm watching how like my commitment is a little bit different than my other 2 friends. So that was one thing I was like, wow, like when I say I'm going to do something, I like really do it. And so that was something that was like good for me just to re-recognize around even something like a 7-minute a day commitment that I have for myself, but also to the butt workout for the chicks. All right.
That you do.
Mirror 2, reflecting your passion. This is like what I love about the mirrors is that they build upon each other. So the first mirror was so key to be able to sit with yourself and go, wow, like I have choice every day to choose to love myself more or not, and I know that if I begin to take action on loving myself more, then things around me are going to get better. I just have to get in the flow of that. And in that process of learning about how to love yourself more fully, and you're learning about all these things that like maybe you never thought of because you're paying attention to yourself more, some of those things start to come out in like what your values are, what integrity looks like to you. And they're really, you should really start to like think about like, well, what things actually bring me comfort? What things make me happy? So the next mirror is around reflecting your passion. Because when you're able to really understand what you're passionate about and just go for it, and even think of earning an income from your passion, like that's why I know I'm here on the planet, is to be an example for others to know that they don't have to just do, I'm not knocking it or anything. It's whatever anyone chooses, but I choose to live life by design and not by default. So if you want to go into the world and have a corporate job, that's one thing if you're really clear on what you want to do. But if there's something inside of you that's more like entrepreneurial in spirit, and you want to create your own thing going on to create monetary gains for yourself, that to me is like, how do I help support you? Because that sometimes doesn't seem the most secure or safest to people, to really trust that intuitive nature around what's our passion. But when you own it and you get it and it's clear for you, that's also part of like exemplifying this beauty that you are from the inside out. So sometimes, like in some of my coaching sessions, people, women, even men are like, I just don't understand. I don't know how would I ever like think about knowing what I'm passionate about and like making a living from it, or figuring out how to monetize what I'm passionate about. So in Mirror 2, I kind of take women through this journey of like starting to kind of slowly ask themselves certain questions to get clarity on, so that passion, that thing that's burning inside of you, can come out and live in a way that's super clear for you, like a mission statement. And then you start to own it and then share with people. And then quickly you see what other resources are out there for you to actually bring that passion to your experience. So the quote on Mirror 2, Reflecting Your Passion, says, when you take the time to ask your heart what purpose it has for you in this lifetime and truly listen, your passion is just suddenly exposed. It's like when you actually listen to that whisper in your heart, like there's no way you don't understand like, oh, this is what I was meant to do. This is, and a lot of times people are telling you constantly like what things you're so good at, and you're not really listening. Oh no, like women have a tendency to go, oh, I'm okay at that. Like that's like freaking own the compliment and like receive it, because that actually helps them like feel stronger about what they shared. But a lot of times people see what's so amazing about you more than we can see it ourselves. And this is kind of what that mirror, this mirror is about. So I share, it's really important, like find things like that bring you joy and just start to write a list. Because when you actually like allow your heart and your mind to flow with ease, and you write all the things that bring you joy, a baby's laughter, helping a woman across the street, that favorite song on the radio, whatever it is, write it down, because that starts to put you in this really healthy vibration of being open to thinking about like, oh my gosh, there's so many things that bring me joy. I probably should love myself more and do more of those things that bring me joy, because that starts to create the abundance and the energy of flow in your life. And then you can start to think about, after like you kind of understand a little bit more about like what brings you joy, like what values really matter to you. Like, what are some of the things that you've discovered that, you know, are these my values because I truly believe that these things, or are these things that I just picked up from my parents and their parents' parents and are in my environment? And when you start to align, you'll start to see it's like a little step, five steps to like, you line out your joys, you line out what your values are, and typically you do something. Like things that are natural for you or within the things that are bringing you joy and the things that are actually like something that you value. Like I shared before, this is a whole embodiment and work of love. Like my number one value in life is love, and integrity is like a close second. And so for me, when I write that down, like how do I live my life that way? How do those value sets for me bring me joy? Well, my relationships, number one, and the things that I choose to create and do are always with integrity, and they always have this energy of like helping people to love themselves in them, because it's just what I love. I love this. Like this is what's fun to me. And so when you start to write these down, you get a little bit more clarity about who you really are and your inner truth and congruence. And then it's really important to be honest with yourself and really understand, like, what are you afraid of? Sometimes the things that you're afraid of are like the biggest opportunities for you to look at. Like it's kind of a little mixed thing. Like when you think, oh, I'm so afraid about, you know, I used to say the biggest thing I was afraid about when I was younger was being on the planet and my parents not being here. Like the whole fear of like dying, and how is that going to be experienced when I'm here and these people that I chose as my parents aren't. Like that used to be one of my biggest things. And so what did I do about that? I faced my fear head on. And when I was 21, I took a death and dying class at UC Davis. And I super got into like the whole aspect of being clairvoyant and different dimensions and lucid dreaming, and start to understand like the possibility of what it could be like, to understand that death isn't just like over, that it's also like a graduation process for the spirit and the soul. So when I started to understand that and look at that, like things started to get a little bit more fun and creative for me, because I was like, okay, like this is part of the evolution of relationships. This is part of like the life-death cycle that we're all living on, you know? And so if that's one of my biggest fears, but I can understand it and I can transmute that, and it's not a fear anymore, then like I could do anything. And like having that power and that inner wisdom creates that stronger faith in who you are and that deeper love for who you are. So those are some of the things, like when you want to kind of take a look at stepping stone, joy, and what are the things I value? What are the things that really matter to me in life? Family, friendships, loving, being kind, abundance. You know, what are some of the things I'm afraid of? And then why am I really afraid? Is it an illusion or is it real? Most of the times it's just an illusion. And so we walk through those moments so that we can get to the other side, because on the other side of that is all the growth and then the opportunity to be a master of that fear and be able to support other people in your conversation, in your business life, in your personal life, once you've walked through that fear and it no longer is haunting you. And it makes you a way more powerful total female package, because you're so much more confident understanding that you can transmute any fear. And it gives you the practice of when you're really thinking about something that you're fearful of, it gives you the practice that later on in life, when other things pop up that you didn't realize you might be fearful of when you were 15, 25, 30, that pop up later, you're like, I've had this exercise before when I had to face my fear. Let me just do that experience again and transmute this. So it doesn't allow you to live a life of default. It actually gives you the opportunity to design how you want to move through that. And then what are the things that you're super committed to? Like what do you know, no matter what, like there's nothing in the world that would ever stop you from doing these 5 things in your world. Like no one's going to ever be able to stop me from loving on them. Like, there's just no way no one's ever going to do that. Like, no one's ever going to stop me from wanting to be super supportive to my family, my soul family, the people that I chose to be a part of their life with, and vice versa. You know, what am I committed to? Like, being a mom, there's no way that I'm not going to ever not experience being a mom in this lifetime. Like, the things that you really truly are committed to, you know, your health, your physical activity, the laws of creation and abundance, and manifesting things for fun because we're the director of our story. And so when you start to look at the things you're really committed to, that builds that self-confidence, that self-worth. It again rises the total female package inside of you, like having these conversations. This whole process is you getting to master yourself and learning so much about who you are from the inside out. And I will say this over and over and over again, like, loving yourself is not a one-time thing. Like, it is a daily practice, just like you want to go to the gym and build muscles and lean muscle mass and abs and booties and all that stuff. Like, this is something you work on every day. And so knowing what you're committed to gives you that like clarity that just like, boom, like the moment you know what you're committed to, your yeses and nos become super simpler in life. Because a lot of times we end up having to go through these experiences where we want to please everybody, especially the women feminine energy inside of us. We want to nurture so many people in our world all the time. And this is, and you know, whether it's like our animals to our parents to different moments of friends, you know, and sometimes at our own like we kind of put our own health at risk sometimes by taking on so many different people's energy all around us. And so these are the things that you can get really clear on and understand, so that you can say yes or no to certain things that might pop up for you. And then what talents do you think you have? Like, I know for the women I'm seeing today on the call, like for many of you that I know really well, like I already know that you're kind of working on your passion and your career in some respect. You know, we've got fitness, beauty queen, you know, we've got entrepreneurial, women's coach, like badass digital marketer, you know, we've got author, speaker, you know, entrepreneur in the tech world, we've got real estate, massive agents, you know, things of those natures happening for some of us. But some of us who are still like trying to figure out, a lot of us women who are still in our 20s, sometimes you're just kind of like going through the motions going, man, I'm still trying to figure out what it is I want to do. And so I always ask, like, what are the things that you believe you're really talented at, and start to list those out, because a lot of times what we call like your tiny talents that you don't tend to recognize yourself for usually are the things that you can learn how to monetize. And so it becomes a system, this like what brings you joy, what are the things that matter to you, what are your fears, what are you committed to, what are you talented at. It's like a 5-finger passion test to show you all the things that create and have the possibility of, when you look at all these things you're writing down on paper, to create what that next step would be for you to really truly be living your passion. And it's that, like I shared a moment ago, it's that inner wisdom, that inner knowing, that one thing that you're even scared right now, maybe in this moment thinking about, that you know you were born here to do, but you just never thought you never thought you're going to make money doing this one thing or these top things, or there's just like 6 things and it's confusing you. You don't know really which one should be the direction you go in. So the other thing that I share in this mirror too is sometimes, like I said before, it's easier for people around you to see the things you're really great at versus you see the things you're really great at. So one of the key things in this section around what you're talented at is to go to 5 trusted people in your circle of, you know, close soul friends or family, and ask them, like, can you list 5 things you think I'm really great at? I would love to know what you think I'm really great at. And I remember when I did this exercise, I did it with 5 coworkers, and I did it with 5 close friends, and I did it with parents. And I got very, like, on one hand, I got very similar things. And then on another hand, I got a couple things I wasn't expecting. And I was like, wow, like that's kind of cool. I never really recognized myself for that. I definitely got the fact that I put people at ease, and that there's this energy, can't explain it, but there's this energy around you, Novelina. When I get around you, I just felt better about myself. I got that over and over and over again when I was in my 20s. And I was like, what is that? Like, why do people feel better about themselves around me? Well, mastering myself and understanding it's because I came here to be this instrument of unconditional love. So when I'm with people, I'm with you. Like, I'm on that vibration of unconditional love. I see you for the amazingness, miracle you are. And when people are around that energy, their natural state of being tunes into that. And that is something for them that they then resonate with automatically. And they go, wow, I can be myself here. I can be safe. I mean, I've had so many people who are strangers on planes, trains, automobiles, trips, you name it, like sit across from me and we get into a conversation, and I can't even tell you how many times, probably over 50 now, I've had strangers tell me like, I don't even know why I just told you that. I've never told anybody that. And I'm like, I know why you told me that. Like, cause it's like part of who you are and you want to share it. But you know, like no one has matched the vibrational frequency of where you're at to make you feel safe, because we're all connected. And so asking somebody who you feel close to give you a little insight on what they believe you're talented at can actually also help boost your self-esteem, because you get these amazing, you know, recognitions of the things inside of you that people are picking up on. They have nothing to do with your looks. They have nothing to do with your style. Like typically people are like picking up on like your character, who you are as a spiritual entity on this planet, who you're showing up as, and how you're exhibiting your values in your life. And it's nice to get that recognition. It feels really good because we're reflections of each other. So typically people are recognizing things in you that they like loving themselves too, and it gives them permission to think about those things in that moment that they care about themselves. And then you're creating this amazing vibration of just this like connective relationship opportunity with the people that you ask simple questions to. So everything that the rising of the TFP is about is raising that love within inside of you to really own who you are. And by design, when you're honoring that inside of you, like people who get near you in your energy field, it's almost like they got to match it to like stay in the room with you. They can't understand, can't explain it, but it's part of like that advanced feminine knowing, and walking into that room and knowing exactly who you are and being congruent with yourself, and being able to speak to what your values are, speak to the things that bring you joy. So the other step in this piece around your passion is, once you get clearer on some of the ideas, coaching, consulting, personal trainer, life coach, real estate agent, entrepreneur, tech founder, you know, professional mom, like whatever it is that suits you, whatever you know, like, oh, this is mine to do in this lifetime, like, and you get so clear on it and you start speaking about it and sharing, you know, these things with other people, you'll start to see all the resources that come to you. And this is also where I also talk about the power of associations. When I started to really decide I'm going to do something with this book, the TFP, when I first wrote it, and it wasn't even in print yet, it was just a digital copy, an ebook online. I remember I got together with 5 of my closest girlfriends at the time. And all of them we're all in our 20s, and everyone's pursuing their corporate careers. And we just met once a week, and we had all these ideas, and they wanted to support me and get behind me getting the book out. And so we did a couple things together, and like we started to kind of brand the Total Female Package out into our close like community. And then I started to get these calls of like people asking me, can you come speak? Do you have a copy of your book yet? Like, we'd love for you to offer it at the back of the room. And I was like, okay, like we're kind of slowly getting there. It's like, it's coming out. Then I started to go to like more advanced, I would say, conferences as the word started getting out. And then I started to realize that there was powerful associations that I should probably be a part of, because it's kind of like where you plant your dream. It's, and I'm not knocking the power of masterminds or associations, but the women, my girlfriends who were wanting to support me from an emotional standpoint, they were only at a certain place in their life where they could support me to a certain extent to get my dream out. The moment I took this dream and I planted it in a new environment of new associations of women who were a little bit more older than me or more advanced in their entrepreneurial career, and started talking about the TFP, then all of a sudden I was getting asked to like multiple conferences. I was getting introduced to people who like wanted to coach me and send me all over the world to like speak on stages. It was like the moment I started to really go, where do I want to plant this dream? Where's the power of the association, the network, that I really feel like this dream can take flight in? You got to get clear on that sometimes. That's part of owning the TFP. It's not about, it's not about saying that you don't want to continue your dream and sharing it with some of your closest friends. But at some point, when you're really focused on elevating your passion and monetizing your passion and creating a living from it, you got to get to a point where you can actually do that with people who are going to help support you to get you to the next space. So that's where I talk about the power of associations in here, because this was in Think and Go Rich, around the power of associations, and you're an average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So when you look at income, lifestyle, environment, beliefs, and you look at the 5 people that you spend the most time with, you're an average of all of those people's and associations, belief systems, monetization, everything that's going on. And so depending on what you want to create for your life, depending on where your passion is leading you to. If I'm a singer, I'm not going to go to I'm not going to go to a yoga association so that I could learn about singing. It's almost like common sense. If I'm an author and a speaker, I'm going to go to a level of association of people who have done that, and they know where to go, and they can show me the ropes, and they can shortcut my time frame on thinking I have to know everything on my own. And you'll learn that people want to give back, especially women who are older than you. I would say 5 to 10 years older than you. Most women just want to share, and they want to feel like they're passing the torch to you. And so they when they see that you're passionate and you're really clear on what you're creating as part of your offering or service, they'll want to do anything to help you bridge a relationship, give you ideas, tell you where to go find free resources, tell you where, or help you get a discount, whatever training you should go be a part of to elevate. And so these are things to keep in mind when you're really looking at my passion, what my passions are, and how do I want to reflect these out to the world, and where do I plant the seeds of my dreams. And you want to make sure that you're planting the seeds of your dreams in an environment that's supporting you, in a very positive, uplifting, optimistic environment. Not someone who's going to go, oh, what you're doing is so hard. It's like, this is the power of who you are. You're so powerful to even have these thoughts and these dreams and these desires. So it's around honoring those and really planning them. So one of the things that I will create as a challenge for everyone today who's watching this is I want you to write down 5 people in your network, women or men, that you believe you can call in the next 48 hours and get really clear on where you need support, and ask them for help. And so even say to them, hey, I'm a part of this book club. This is part of a challenge that I've been asked to do. I'm learning more about how to advance the feminine power within myself and really own the fact that I'm already the total female package. Would love to help me in this area. Are there any resources, guidance, tips, things you would recommend, people you think I should meet? Write the 5 people down that you feel like you really should be talking to about this, and then go have those conversations. And you'll start to see, just from conversation, your next 2 weeks in meetings and phone calls, and you're starting to share and what you're offering out there. And so a lot of this, we're getting to the final this year, So if you go to the practices, really owning the practices of living your passion, I've got a couple different boxes for you to work on this next week until we get together next week. But really around scripting. So this is a practice I use most often when I want to set the stage for what I want to experience and visual my life in the years to come. So I always take a blue ink to get my favorite journal, feel good about, give myself space, beautiful music, at good incense, aromatherapy, like I'm feeling really positive, just allowing myself to really tap into my power. And I would write down like what I want my life to look like in 6 months from now, or in a year from now, or 5 years from now. And everything that I would, when I did that consistently for a year, everything that I was scripting would come true, even to the simplicity of, actually writing down daily, like what are the 5 things I'm grateful for that happened today. From the moment I wake up, those things, by the time I hit my pillow, had all happened or showed up in some way that I was like, wow, that's when life starts to feel like magic. Because I was like, gratitude is just a prayer, and that we're going to go to the gratitude mirror next, I believe. But yeah, it's our next mirror 3, and how now we're building, right? Went from the authentic self-reflection to passion X is gratitude and the power of that law of the universe. And so really scripting out, what is everything? What does it smell like? What do you hear in this vision of your life? The next year you get really detailed and see how it just starts to transform and come to you without you even having to think about it every day. And then I share earlier around thinking about your fear. And sometimes we have a story inside of us that we need to unlock and release. And so that if there's one thing that's circulating in your system around a fear, I ask you to journal to yourself and really think about, how is that fear actually a blessing? And start to change the way you're thinking about that fear to see it as a moment of growth versus something that's going to hold you back. And that is so powerful for you to really own your self-confidence and the love that you have inside yourself, transmuting that, really walking through that and understanding that fear is actually a blessing. And once you get around that and you understand it, then you're completely able to speak to it with no emotion, which doesn't, when you don't have an emotion around it, you're not creating it. There's nothing like attracting to it. And so it's something that is very, very useful for anything that you're doing in life, no matter what passion career you have, the ability to speak to others and yourself first, but owning it and practicing it, but then speaking to like your partner someday, husband, boyfriend, mom, your dad, like everyone has fears. So when you find the way to transmute fears within you, like you're giving such a gift to other people when they get to a point where they feel like they can come talk to you about stuff and they start sharing a little bit of their story. And it's like that reciprocity, that opportunity that you're sharing and giving and helping them move through something comes back tenfold for you. So that's a really, really big one around supporting your passion, is really understanding how to transmute that. And then writing a personal purpose statement. I did this several times. Sometimes I realized that people just weren't really taught how to write personal, like your own mission statements. And I don't think I actually I know how to write. I knew how to write goals. I was writing affirmations down from some of the workshops and trainings and books and stuff. But it wasn't until I went into my master's program at USD in my late 20s, that early 30s, that I realize that there's power in understanding what personally you are aligned with, like what your mission is. So I've gotten mine down to one really quick sentence is my purpose statement is to increase the vibration of love on the planet, one heart at a time. That took me iterations and iterations and iterations to get clarity, because I'd be like, oh, I want to impact my entire community so that people are behaving in harmony, so that everyone can live their purpose. So I had to go through several different moments of what my personal statement was. But when I got super clear on what it was, to increase the vibration of love on the planet, one heart at a time, that completely set me up to be so authentic to all of my decision-making processes. I now know what to say yes to and what to say no to, like that, Because if it doesn't match my personal mission statement, then it's a no. Like, why would I actually use my energy towards something that's not congruent with me? And so that's part of learning yourself and mastering yourself. And so in the back of this book, it shares with you the process on how to effectively write your personal purpose statement, just to help you get really clear. And then you share that with people, and people get inspired by hearing your clarity and your congruence with who you are. And they just naturally, authentically want to help whatever you need help with in that moment, because they're so moved by the fact that you're so clear. And I mean, it's that simple. Like, we complicate things. We don't need to. And so that's part of the message here. And then, you know, you just like looking in the mirror still and reminding yourself like how to focus on your love and everything that you got going on inside of you. And so that's mirror 2. I'm complete with walking through mirror 2. And for next week, I'd love for us to share some of our personal purpose statements with each other when we start. And if there's anything that anyone wants to share right now before our time is up in a minute or so, or a couple minutes, then I'd love to hear it.
I do. And real quick. And just as you're going through, and for some of those that are going through the TFP as the first time, you know, as you're going through and discovering your passion, actually nailing it down, you know, this is something that can continuously also evolve. So it's a journey. So if you don't know those things right off the back and you're discovering them, allow yourself the space to discover it. You know, don't beat yourself up for like, oh, I don't know what this is, or I don't quite know exactly what my passion is. But the book is there to help you, walk you through, to start even just asking yourself the questions to discover, and, you know, and get you on that path to again, to have the confidence to say the yes and the no's for the things that align and feel good in your life. So I'm excited to hear what everyone's mission statements are next week.
So looking forward to it. I'll be calling in from beautiful Vancouver Island.
Yay!
Super stoked to be back in Canada with my hubby and a lot of our family friends. Closer to you a little bit, Juliana, but always a pleasure. I love being here with you ladies, and looking forward to Mirror 3, which is reflecting gratitude in your life every day, and just love the energy of the tribe that's building around this movement. So you guys are all total female packages. So I'm